Hi, everybody. Congratulations, Larians. We were preparing for what Yellen gave us yesterday since late last week in the dollar. We talked about liking the euro at 111.5. So here we are about to retest these lows into the NFP. Can we bounce from here? Certainly. But great call by Goldie. Stayed long cable. Cyric was bullish cable. Goldie started talking about the short side of the yen on Friday from Santa Barbara, right in here. And then I dialed down on the yen, looking for one more high. There were screenshots of the yen being a rectangle. So not sure if you guys are seeing this. Hold on. Probably still seeing me. Yeah, you're still seeing me. Okay. Here we go. So here it is, the Dixie. So from late last week up around this 96.40 level, we were turning negative the dollar after the breakdown on the Fed. This was a great retrace. A lot of bullishness in cable. Euro, talked about euro at 11.5. Talked about at least not being short the dollar, especially not being short cable, that it was a tricky bastard. We've rallied about 350 pips, 400 pips. And then Goldie started preparing for yen shorts on Friday from Santa Barbara right in here. So we drilled down on the yen early in the week and had the non-confirmation in the yen yesterday up here. I showed the divergence. We had a confirmed high early in the week and then got the divergence here, broke down out of this wedge. Took this wedge out yesterday, big trade. I don't think this is a significant bottom, but we could rally back to 113. And 113, I'm a seller. Nice work, Larians. No one should have gotten hurt being long the dollar, hanging out with us. Amen. No one should have gotten hurt being long the dollar, and many could have made some decent money on the short side of the dollar, long side of euro, long side of pound. Said don't be short Aussie while the dollar's under this pressure, and the US dollar yen call was really tight and on the button this week. So congratulations for this collaborative effort to take advantage of another fairly substantial move in the FX market. Nice work, everyone. Congratulations. Hello, Ricardo. Ricardo took advantage of it in the guppy. Alexandros is here firing some looks here. How's everyone doing today? So don't tell me we don't have the best mastermind on the net, because we were on top of a lot of these moves to take advantage of a weaker dollar. In my extremely accurate and humble opinion, LAR is the best community, paid or free, on the net. If you agree with me, give me a Y. And in the meantime, let's see what Alex has in the crude. Looking to buy this pullback. Pulls back to the trend line, still way under the cloud. So Alex is looking maybe a little under 33, and then another rally. That's a nice look, Alex. Back to underneath the cloud. Yeah. I know we are. And here's the Kiwi. Yeah, that's a nice 3 drive. You may not want to be short the Kiwi, but I wouldn't be long either. Right here. Thank you for the looks, Alex. I want to thank Alexander for his looks on the crude and his looks on Kiwi. Okay. Okay, Ricardo. 33, 34. Okay. I agree. So we could have an April reverse. April's tomorrow, Friday. Yeah. April's Friday. So if you pull up your monthly S&P chart, everyone pull up their monthly S&P chart. Here's Rick's look. And the month will be ending tomorrow. And what I'm anticipating is we take out March's highs early in the month. Could be as early as Friday, 2080, 2100. And then we take out March's lows. So pull up a monthly S&P chart. In fact, let me show it to you. Thank you, Rick. This is a nice look. I'm 2080. I've heard some other wave guys talk 2080. But this is what I'm looking for. Let me go. I'll just go cash. I'll go monthly. Okay. So we had an inside month in February and another strong month here in March. So what I'm looking for is in early April, wherever the high in March is, to be taken out first, and then sometime during April, take out this month's low to give us an outside month to the downside. So that's going to be 1937. So looking for a reversal and possibly an outside month all the way down to that 1930 level. And then we'll see. So that's my prediction in the stock market. Of course, the guy's talking 2235 like Goodburn. He's looking better. A lot of guys talking 2200. Maybe that's going to happen. I think there's a possibility of an April failure. So you don't have to agree with me, but I'm looking for a reversal month to the downside in April, which means we take out wherever the highs are between today and tomorrow. We take it out Friday, early next week. And then once we start trading lower on the month, the potential of an outside month to the downside, I believe, is possible. Still think we're going to see some weakness into the July time frame. Not sure if it's just going to be a retest of 1800. I doubt it. You could come up with 1750 or 1580. So I think we could be here by July, looking for an outside month to the downside. So you don't have to agree with me, but just give me a why if you understand what I just said. You guys get it? Just a thought I have in my head. I think they smash it into the Republican convention, which I believe is early July. Okay. So that's my Nostra Pinkert for the day. Just a big picture possible bearish scenario. Okay. That'd be a nice trade from 2080. It doesn't. That's completely a guess, Stuart. Anyone that could answer that question is above my pay grade. I don't know if it's going to be to blame Trump. It may strengthen Trump. If the financial markets are under pressure, maybe it's because things are deteriorating more in Europe or China, or perhaps a terrorist attack somewhere else or in the US. But Stuart, I can't answer that question. Yeah, they need an excuse. That's a good reason. Hi, Brooke. Sure, they could. Yeah, they could. Oh, because of the campaign and his potential policies and that he might be president. And then we get a rally into the election. And then we rally into the election after a summer low. Let's see it, Rick. Just a dumb prediction, guys. Looks like 72 in the Kiwi. Confluence, 61.8. Thank you, Rick. Looks good. Everyone thank Ricardo Picasso for its target and Kiwi up towards 72. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Ricky. Your Nostra Zurich. Thank you, Zurich. Thank you, Rick. How are you, Stuart? Who else is in the house here? Luca, Brook, Alexandros, thanks for your looks. Forex Pipper. Cyric's here, Ibby's here, Double A. How you doing? Ricardo, thanks for the screenshots. Ed ZFX, hello, how are you? Fame, The Grays, Tozen, Mystic. How are you, buddy? Stuart, Eileen, welcome back. Decadic, Ali, Jake, Adinda, Jax, Pegasus, Dion, Abel, my brother. Aussie going to 80. Drink it in, Stuart. Drink it in, buddy. At least 78 anyway, huh? Maybe 80. Interesting look. Nice look for an 80 target. By Luca. Thank you, Luca. Rick tweeted this. Pound Kiwi risk on. Makes one more low with the market blowing. Better do it now. Looks like $2 here. Yeah, $2. Thank you, Rick. Everyone thank Rick. Thank you, Rick. I'm going to be interviewing Vicki Schmelzer today. From at MNI Ion FX. Vicki will be with us a little less than an hour from now. Everyone doing all right? So guys, remember I was talking 115 in the euro as another potential back test right here. Who remembers? 115 being the back test line. Had some confluence coming in here, 1450, 1500. I think eventually we go there. So I think 115, I said that these lines could be a magnet. Here we go. I wouldn't chase it into the NFP. But if we get a strong NFP and they rally the dollar, that may be the time to do it. That's right. Well, maybe a good number. I wouldn't just launch now. I wouldn't just chase it now. So if you miss the next 200 pips, fine. Yeah, except, NFP, you have to throw your charts away for a while Friday, Luca. I would just wait and hope for a strong jobs number for the dollar to bounce on it and use that pullback. And if it's a weak jobs number, we're going to be at 115, so you miss a piece of the move. And wait for markets to set up again. Capiche? What do I know? I'm just a hungry lion in the middle of the jungle looking for a zebra burger for breakfast. But that's my thinking. If you've been short the dollar, I'd be booking it and waiting till after the NFP. Any amens in the room? If you're saying to yourself, I need to find a trade, shut down your platform. Yeah, so we could fade it. If you're saying to yourself this, I need to find a trade, shut down your platform right now. Delete that thought. Let the trade find you. Let the trade find you. Let it slap you in the face that it's so compelling you can't resist assuming some risk. But if you're hunting your screen and going from pair to pair right now, and I can only say this because I have done it, I do it. But if you're saying yeah, I agree. Okay, well, whatever. Also, if you miss something because you weren't positioned prior to the NFP, so what? So what? There'll be another trade. There's always another trade. Don't worry about missing something after the NFP. If you're worried about missing out on the move in the S&P, yeah, there you go. He's in duty. Yeah. Anyway, that's the end of my preaching. I'm through preaching today, guys. It's the end of Dale Pinkert, Coach Pinkert's homily. Father Pinkert's homily is over. So here's my song for April. Is Sinatra in the house? Yeah. Sinatra, you here, buddy? I don't think he's here. You ever hear this? This is the song for the S&P. Comes after Sinatra's That's Life. That's life. That's what people say. The S&P's flying high in April, shot down in May. There you go. Flying high in April and shot down in May. S&P. I don't believe the rest of the lyrics that it's going to be back on top in June. Maybe in July. There you go, buddy. That's the S&P theme song. Flying high going into April, shot down in May. We'll see. I think everyone who's waiting for May to sell in May and go away is going to be a month late. They're going to be a month late. All right, Rick likes this area in Canada. It's a higher low, right, Rick? Yeah. So it could be putting in a higher low. You get one more bounce while crude sells off to Alexander's chart back to 35, 33. We get one more bounce and then another flush. Thank you, Ricardo. Just trying to put LAR confluence together. LAR confluence was pretty good on being bullish the pound and being bearish the yen. LAR confluence came together in a pretty big way over the last 4 or 5 trading days. Thank you, Rick. Got plenty of traction. I don't know. Why don't you refresh and come back in, Brooke? Adinda, can you help Brooke out? He's having trouble with the screenshots. Sinatra has an Aussie look. Yeah, it looks like there's one more high. The readings are pretty high on this one, though, Sinatra. You know, if we get a third drive up here, well, these are pretty high readings. See that, 80? This was 80, this was 80. You know what I'm saying? We get one more high, it might be worth a shot. But it just shows how strong it is. You know, we went all the way to 80 a couple times. Thank you, Sinatra. Everyone thanks Sinatra for showing some divergence in the Aussie here. You understand what I'm saying about the 80 reading, Sinatra? Not as ideal. You get it? Everyone doing all right? There's a look from Zurich. USD CAD. Down here, 27. Yeah. That's certainly going to happen if crude's going to 46. Thank you, Zurich. $35.80 on the upside. It's still long the pound. Nice trade. 46. That was also Zurich's target from the low on the harmonic pattern. Some more LAR confluence. LAR was bullish cable based on Zurich's up. And people are bringing up the point that this could be a head and shoulders bottom. Rick, that's a pretty big move. Then you're talking 150 or better if we break out, right? Thank you, Ricardo. Looks like a head and shoulders to me. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Zurich. Everyone doing okay? Ibby, how are you? Dion, how's it going? Short, welcome back. Everyone, welcome back, Short. Fab, how are you, buddy? The Grays are here. Jake, what's up? Jax, how are you, partner? Pegasus, how have you been, Simon? Everyone doing okay? Everyone doing all right? My trading warrior brothers and sisters, everyone doing okay? Okay. Okay. Okay, everybody. I'm going to take a 5-minute break now. Great shares again this morning. My trading warrior brothers and sisters, thank you for your great looks. I'll be back in a few minutes. You guys could continue to elaborate. Proud of each and every one of you. Good work. I'm back. We're doing okay. FOD saved the queen. Well, you want to do your George Soros imitation? Everyone doing okay? Everyone doing okay? Okay, let's take a look at it, Zurich. Okay, got to pull back in the pound here. Back to 43.60. 3.5. Thank you, Zurich. Brook, head, shoulders. Right shoulder. Could be. Couple of nice looks here in the pound. Brook's much more negative than Zurich's. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Brook. Thank you, Zurich. See what Mystic has for us. Is this the Aussie? Is that Aussie, Mystic? What is it? Oh, CAD Swiss. Okay. So breaking out of a big triangle here. Big triangle. You're wrong, back under 74.10. I want to thank Mystic for his CAD Swiss 45-minute look here. Thank you, Mystic. Thank you, Mystic. Goldie in the house today? I don't see Goldie. EuroCAD. Looking for a big break in EuroCAD. Mystic is from 47 down to 46. 20. Thank you again, Mystic, for your share. Everyone thank EuroCAD look. Thank Mystic. Thank you, buddy. Okay, Tozen. I just added. Thank you, buddy. Everyone thank Mystic. Don't fade Mystic. Thank you, Rick. Yeah, I saw that plug yesterday. I retweeted, congratulated you on your guppy swing, and thank you for the plug. Did you see it? Euro Kiwi hanging on support by a thread by Brook. Weekly. Breaks that, look out, huh? Thank you, Brook. I think Brook is a great addition to our community. Who agrees with me? I don't know, Brook. I think Brook is a great addition to our community. There's my why. Glad you found us. Everyone doing okay? Stick around for Vicki Schmelzer. Hi, Abel. How are you, bro? How are you, buddy? Since my baby left me, I'm feeling all alone. Do 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 do. I'm getting so lonely, baby. Getting so lonely. Okay, buddy. What are you having for lunch? What are you seeing, Peg? I think we're going to take out the triple bottom, don't you? Think we'll take out this bottom? I like a sale up around 13. Maybe you're bullish. I don't know. What are you thinking? Besides that, it's interesting. Wow. Yeah, I guess that would surprise me. So something like this from here. Something like that. So then the dollar weakness is almost over. What's it have to hold in your view? 112? See, this is why I don't like it. You see this? See this RSI reading right there? That's the 4 hour. It was confirmed, right? What kind of low is this, guys? In the end. Okay. Here's a look at the dollar. Still has a higher low here. Some confluence here. Down here. Probably be like 94, 93.50 in the Dixie. Thank you, Luca. Yeah, you have to see, you would think that the market would be coming off with the yen strengthening, US dollar yen going down. Thank you, Luca. You have a chart? You have a chart, Peg? Everyone doing okay? Crude data? Thank you, Tosin. 129-ish and what? Oh, let's see. Hello, Sir Bedrin. Okay. Nice look on Euro Yen from Cyric. Everyone thanks Cyric for his Euro Yen, looking at about 29-ish on Euro Yen. Thank you. Thank you, Cyric. Everyone doing all right? Stand by for Vicki. Tosin's got a look. Tosin sold the high in the S&Ps. What's this, a 5-minute? Time frame? Hey, buddy. Nice entry. Everyone wish Tosin well on his entry, short S&P up here. He's been very patient waiting for it. Looks like you have a nice little lead so far. Don't fade Tosin. He's very patient too. Yeah. Thank you, Tosin. You're a very patient guy waiting for that price. Congratulations. And good analysis looking for it. Well, you both could be right. Depending upon what you do, you're already right. You're both already right. So you could both take profits and both be right because you did things at different times. How many of you guys use the Tico FX Street Forex live video page for chat? Give me a Y if you do. Veterans got a look. Yeah, you showed this yesterday, I believe. What's your zone? Under 29, 28? Right around in here, huh? To a new high. Thank you, Sir Veteran. Everyone thanks Sir Veteran for his long-term view on USD CAD. All right, well, Rick, look at the top of the page with Mauricio's picture up there. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. So here it is. Oh, now I know what he's doing. He's drinking coffee. All right. He just looked crouched over. I wasn't sure what he was doing in that picture. Don't mess with Mauricio. This guy look like a killer to you? Give me a Y if you think Mauricio looks like a killer. He is a killer. I don't know. Doesn't he look like a killer up there? Don't mess with Mauricio. The coffee killer, yeah. Anyway, Vicki should be with us pretty soon. What's Padrino? Godfather? Is that Godfather? Spanish for Godfather? So, it is Godfather? Okay. So back in February when the SPX was trading the original, okay, trading 1800, 1850, and Adam Button asked me what I thought about the S&Ps. I said there will be a better shorting opportunity in April. Who remembers when Adam asked me? I'm not trying to hit this S&P on the button. Listen, Adam said, Dale, what do you think about the S&P? He was bearish. I said, I think it's going to bottom in here and there'll be a better shorting opportunity in April. April is 2 days away. I should have bought the hell out of the market on that call. Anyway, here we are. April Fools in 2 days. April. Flying high into April, shot down in May until July. And if not, I'll lose money. That won't be anything real new for me. I've lost money my whole career on and off. You know what, guys? It doesn't worry me because even if I'm early, it ain't nothing but a drawdown and a margin call. It ain't nothing but a drawdown and a margin call. But I ain't scared cause I still believe the call. Never said I was perfect, that would be a lie. Never said I was perfect, that would be a lie. But I'm more right than wrong and I can look you in the eye. Watch me fly. It ain't nothing but a drawdown and a margin call. It ain't nothing but drawdown or a margin call. But I'll take that retracement and it will be a ball. Amen. I'll take that retrace. So what do you think in 1930? 1930, 1940? I do. I thought I was Elvis. Thank you, Abel. It went well with your lunch. So, stand by for Vicki. She should be here shortly. Okay. Who's Jamie? Jamie Satil? Jamie Satil? Is that who you're talking about? 1930. Jamie had 1970. That sounds like 38%. Okay. Okay, Vicki should be with us shortly. Stick around for Vicki Schmelzer at MNI on FX. Vicki's an author. A great fundamental analyst. So we'll get a dose of some fundamentals today from Vicki. Anyone in here love me? I'm feeling insecure. Anyone love me? Okay, looking for 1300. Thank you, Luca. Yeah, should have another drive. Should have a third drive, don't you think? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1300. Thank you, Luca. I think I hear Vicki in the house. Hi, Vicki. How are you?
Oh, hi there. Sorry, I was a few minutes early.
Oh, that's okay. The early bird catches the euro.
Well,
It used to be the worm, but the euro. So great to have you back, Vicki. And I just want to start off with what your impressions are. First, we had Draghi. Whatever he said, that maybe they were done cutting rates. The euro took off. The dollar sunk. Then the Fed meeting, very, very dovish. The dollar sunk. And then yesterday, Yellen actually talking about possibly QE. She did say that those tools were available. So the dollar's taken a pretty good hit. I guess the question is, it's a bull market and the dollar alive, and this is a great buying opportunity in the dollar, or are we in the midst of a correction that could carry further?
well, there's a lot of dynamics at play at the moment, and I'm looking at the market, and we seem to be that the glass is either all full or all empty. We're never even at the point where it's half full or half empty. And we went into the ECB meeting basically expecting what we got, and then it wasn't until the press conference that Draghi had that suggestion that this might, that this might be it, this might be as much as the ECB can do. And then, of course, the euro reacted and jumped higher. Then we get the same, the next leg of it was the Fed dots not being, suggesting 2 Fed hikes instead of 3 Fed hikes in 2016. And that threw another, roadblock in the market's minds in terms of, we would love to believe that the world, that the global economy has seen the worst and is in recovery mode. And every time we have even a glimmer of hope of that, something happens that just sort of gets us more pessimistic again. And, I'm looking at the euro today, nicely over 113. It looks like we're going to go back and see the highs we saw the day after the Fed, and maybe even, the highs for the year. And it just seems so just illogical when you look that they're, negative German Bund yields out to nearly 10 years. And so many people have told me that just all of this flies in the face of like FX 101, things just don't seem logical. And
they should get used to that. I'm surprised they're not by now. So my point being here, and I've had some technical targets up around 115 in the euro, and we're almost there. How do you think Draghi is feeling right now? Because I'm still sure, or believe so, that he would like to see a weaker euro, and with the euro moving against him. And it almost seems like at the last G20 meeting that it wasn't publicized, but perhaps there was some type of accord that was similar to the Plaza Accord that we had in 1985, where they wanted to knock the dollar down. I mean, that was one of Yellen's worries, and she really put the lid on the dollar last spring, and talking about being afraid or the negative implications of a strong dollar. So maybe this was what the G20 wanted to accomplish, to take off the pressure from emerging markets. But I don't think it's what Draghi wants.
Well, I kind of downplay the various conspiracy theories about the G20 meeting. I mean, of course.
Play along with me, Vicki. It's almost April Fool's Day in 2 days.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so April Fools. I was kidding.
But no, I mean, of course they speak with each other, and of course they have concerns when the dollar gets too high or their own currency gets too high or low, But in this case, I think with regard to the euro and Draghi, I know MNI had a sources story about a week or so ago, just talking about that not so much physical intervention, but would we start to see more verbal intervention at some point in the euro? Because,
jawboning.
Yeah, jawboning, exactly. And so I remember at the time when the sources story came out that I started polling people and saying, well, when do you think we would hear this sort of jawboning? And some people thought over 115, some over 117, and some thought we probably wouldn't hear it until 120. And we weren't yet at those brutal levels that Trichet used to be concerned about. But right now I was looking at the chart of the euro and dollar yen, and it's kind of amusing that we're basically in a 111, 114 range for both of them. And it's hard to, it seems right now that in the case of the euro, it's going to get its direction from what our yields do. And will our yields keep marching lower, continuing back to the February lows? Or is this sort of, is this move that we're seeing this week just leftover Euro holiday Easter holiday squaring? Or also there seems to be some month-end demand for bonds and some, well, it's hard to say profit taking in stocks because obviously they're moving higher today. But yesterday, before Yellen spoke, there was the buzz around that there had been some stock selling, profit taking, and moving some money back into bonds, just given the run up that we've seen in March. But I think that from here, it's going to be up to what our yields do is going to be the larger driver. With one little caveat there, we got the German HICP inflation data today. It was a lot higher than expected. I was shocked that Bund yields didn't jump more on that, but I guess everyone wants to wait to see the EMU-wide flash data that's coming out tomorrow. And if that's positive, I think we're looking for minus 0.1. If that's positive, then that kind of tells you, I mean, not that anyone thought that the ECB would do anything in April, but that, it might mean that they wait a bit longer before looking at anything else, and that would be a euro positive. And then if we get, depending upon what non-farm payrolls are on Friday, excuse me, that if it's a bad number, then that could be another thing that kind of propels the euro higher.
Okay, so you mentioned panicky numbers like 117, 120, 123. I don't understand why people would feel fear or panic about that, because that's only halfway back from the high of 140 to 104. It's just a normal market correction. Still could be considered a bear market rally and a great shorting opportunity for dollar bulls and euro bears up there. So what do you make out of the fact that the last few days, and I know FX is your bailiwick, but I was talking about, I was going to be curious to see how risk assets performed, whether it was going to like a weak dollar or not like a weak dollar. And right now it seems that equities like a weaker dollar because that's supporting some commodity prices. We've had a nice run in gold. We had a nice run in crude. It's correcting, but some are saying we could see 45.50. So do you think that we've switched back to the market being able to generate gains based on dollar weakness? You think that correlation is shifting?
Is it dollar weakness, or is it low rates for longer? And I tend to think, they kind of go hand in hand with each other, but
right.
the stocks tend to like low rates for longer in whatever center those low rates are. And there are many of us who feel, oh no, that they got their dose of heroin yesterday, and so now stocks are going to keep pushing higher. And that, it's, I guess, how it used to be this year. We thought if stocks rally, it's going to be because the Fed is actually hiking rates because the economy is strong enough, and that you may still see stocks rise until yields got so high that would choke off. You'd give you another alternative to put your money. But now we're back to the old heroin thing, that we need low rates for longer, and that sends stocks higher.
What happened to those bond vigilantes? Vicki, where's your head at on U.S. dollar yen and the BOJ? I believe this is, isn't this fiscal year end for the Japanese, where there's a lot of repatriation going into the end of this month, and when does that end?
Well, fiscal year end is March 31, and in the olden days there used to be far more repatriation flows, and now with mark-to-market accounting you see far less of that, although I would say in recent years, with more companies hedging their investments, there's been more month-end, quarter-end flows than we've seen before. So the thinking is that most people have done what they need to do for fiscal year end. And then the other sort of stereotype is that typically in the new fiscal year, which begins April 1, that the Japanese investors start sending money abroad again. And so that could be, if the same holds true this year, starting at the end of this week and into next week, we may start to see dollar yen firm and euro yen and firm on these outflows out of Japan. But Friday's going to be a very interesting day because we have not only U.S. non-farm payrolls, we've got Chinese PMI data, and we've got the Japanese Tankan. And when you think
Wow.
of, yeah, all on Friday. So when you think of what's going to be happening in the next month, I mean, we know that probably the Fed isn't going to do anything. We know the ECB in April is probably going to wait and see how, they just ease, so let's just sit back and let it all digest. But the BOJ is a little bit more of a wild card, and not so much that they're going to be expected to announce any new easing in April, but depending upon especially how the beginning parts of April shape up in terms of inflation. You've got wage negotiations going on in the early part of the month. And then after the Tankin's released a few days later, there is an extra Tankin report that will be talking about wage inflation also. And I know the BOJ, we've had a couple sources stories talking again about that the BOJ is really keen to see if there's any sign of inflation. And of course, if there isn't, then the possibility of new easing could be on the table. But the BOJ, I think that for dollar yen is maybe a little bit more interesting currency pair to play in the next few weeks, because you'll get a good idea, depending upon the data, about what the BOJ might be doing, and certainly what the market's going to speculate that they're going to do. And I would think that would tend to underpin dollar yen and send it higher.
Okay, so you're a fundamentalist, and that's the view. When I look at my charts and I have a triple bottom at 111-ish, I'm not a big believer in triple bottoms. It gave people 3 chances to get long. I don't think Mr. Market likes to accommodate people that much. To me, it looks like it could be a magnet for the market to take us under the 111 level. What do you think fundamentally would drive that? Because obviously risk on, I would think that it would be risk off, but the weakness yesterday in the yen and recent weakness has all come in the face of risk on rather than risk off. So the yen really never rallied like the S&Ps, but if you looked at the S&Ps and the yen chart during January, February, they were identical. They bottomed, they bottomed around the same time, where the yen hasn't even retraced 38% of that decline from 124, if you take it from 21, and the S&Ps are knocking on the door of new all-time highs. What do you think is going on there? I once interviewed someone who said, well, the yen now has 2 masters. Okay, it's not just risk on, risk off. It also has to do with what's happening with the Nikkei. So,
dollar yen, it could be related to some month-end flows, and so I think you'll get a better idea next week whether dollar yen, plays catch up and starts to take up some of those old highs. But I think the other thing to really keep an eye on, and I've been looking at the spread. I've been watching China, because China was the cause of a lot of our grief earlier in the year. Now,
during the devaluation phase when they came off the peg?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
well, no, I'm just talking about the beginning of this year, where you had, lots of speculation that they were going to be devaluing, and they were forced to come in and intervene. And at one point, the spread between the offshore and the onshore yuan was about 1,400 points. So the speculators were in buying dollars, selling offshore yuan, so much so that the spread was 1,400 points. After they intervened, it kept narrowing and narrowing and narrowing. And last week, that spread was actually minus 100 pips.
What an arbitrage both ways, huh?
So
the dumb money took it to an aberrational level, and the Bank of China was successful in squeezing them out.
Well, exactly, but since since the Lunar New Year holiday, and then we had all the G20 meeting. I mean, dollar yuan's been pretty stable. I mean, you see a couple days of weakness, couple days of strength, but that spread has remained very, very tight. So I think when we're looking for signs of risk aversion, that's something that I also am keeping a close eye on. And if you start to see things where, I mean, it's kind of arranged between, at an extreme, maybe the minus 100 last week, and then maybe 100, 150 points with the offshore yuan a little weaker than the onshore.
That's a pearl. Do you have symbols so that we could start monitoring that?
Sure. I mean,
how do you watch the offshore and the other? How do you do it?
Usually on my Bloomberg, the CNH for offshore, and then CNY for onshore. And what I end up doing every day, and I do a little piece every day on the MNI website, is I look at the 11:30. It's China's 11:30, which currently is 11:30 a.m. our time. That closed, and I look at the spread at that time between the on and offshore yuan, and I just sort of monitor that each day. It's something to like, if you can look at the VIX, that's giving you more of what people are thinking about stocks. I mean, this just gives you, there are a lot of risk indicators out there, but I like to keep an eye on this one because if we start to see problems with the Chinese currency again, that could be another red flag that risk on is going to turn into risk off.
Okay, so what kind of level would that be? Was it 500 under?
If for some reason the PMIs that are coming out Friday, if you start to see more negative data and the PMIs, I mean, they're still not looking for them to go back over 50 on Friday. But if they really slipped sharply, people would start to get more worried about Chinese growth and whether or not they would be growing at that, close to 6.5% this year or not, and that might rattle people a little bit. But still, it's the bigger risk picture and what's going on in China, Japan.
Okay. Do you recall what level when this was going on, when it went to 1500 under? What level the market started paying attention to it? They probably didn't right away, did they?
No, I think that it wasn't really on the market's radar screen, but I think when in January, when we started to have those huge declines in the Shanghai composite that had spillover for other markets, that's what made people pay attention.
Okay, well, that's a pearl, and thank you for edifying me and our community for another gauge. I'd like to switch gears a little bit, and I'm not going to ask you if you have a Bernie Sanders sign or a Donald Trump sign in your front yard, Vicki, but for the first time, a lot of market analysts are saying that what's happening politically in this presidential race and a lot of the things that the top candidates are saying that are not really business friendly, or something like a potential trade war if Trump is elected. Do you think that this political season going into the elections is going to play a role in how we're pricing everything?
Well, obviously a lot will depend on what's happening, but let's just suppose that all the economies are sort of improving, and you've got the Eurozone bouncing back, Japan, China, and here in the US we're muddling through. I think that the market, despite all the talk about making fun of who said what at the various debates, I really don't think we are pricing in a Trump presidency. I think the market says, oh, this will be a disaster, but hasn't really priced that in yet. And I mean,
so maybe they do if it becomes a reality that at least he's the Republican nominee.
Yeah, maybe I think that once we know who our candidates are, then I think the market, I think, is going to be complacent and think that if it's going to be Trump against Clinton, then it's funny because you say to someone, if you had spoken to someone 2 years ago and said Donald Trump would be the Republican contender, they would have laughed you silly. And so now when people say to me, oh, Trump
even 6 months ago, Vicki, right, even 6 months ago. Yeah.
Someone had says right now, oh, well, Trump isn't going to get it. People come out and vote for Clinton. And I'm going like, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to play out. And
Yeah.
I just think we may not need protection, I'd say, for our 401ks to the downside. But if you read The Economist and you read a lot of the overseas publications, they've made it clear that they think this would be a disaster. Now, I guess the question is, will they take their money and run if that's indeed the case? And people get lazy and they just say, oh, well, how bad will he be? And just leave their money
Yeah.
there. But I just think it's something we need to pay attention to.
Yeah, I think they said that about Mussolini and Hitler too. So
Yes.
how bad can they be? In fact, Hitler was a hero because he took them out of the 1930s depression with fiscal stimulus, building the highway. What's it called again in Germany? The Autobahn.
Autobahn.
So there was economic improvement going into it. So one other subject, and I think this could play into what happens politically, is Europe with its migration problems that will exacerbate as the weather gets better, and the recent terrorist attack in Belgium, and if anything, any kind of minor terrorism event hits the shores of the U.S., I think would play into Trump's hands. What do you think?
I would agree, and I guess we just have to hope and pray that this does not become a reality. And it's just it's probably inevitable that something will eventually happen here, but I guess we have to hope that that's a long ways down the road, and that will. The other element is just given the reaction that we saw last week is will we become numb to these terrorist attacks?
Yeah, the markets were ambivalent.
And granted, if it's on U.S. soil, that would be a different story, at least initially. But I just think, given how big the U.S. is, it would have it would have an effect for a few days, and then it would probably dissipate.
Okay, Vicki. Well, speaking about hope and prayer, I hope, I don't think I'll have to pray that you'll return and join us again a little bit down the road, maybe into this June, July timeframe, into these conventions. And also remember, hope is the oxygen in our life and the carbon monoxide of our trading. You could use it.
Anyway, have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Vicki. Thank you so much for taking time out and giving us that pearl about CNH, CNY.
Yeah, no, everybody should keep an eye on that one.
That and your views on the rest of on the euro and central banking's great interview. You never fail to deliver. Thank you, Vicki. Vicki Schmelzer, everybody. Thank her. And you could follow Vicki at her Twitter handle at MNI EYE on FX. Is that correct?
Right. That's right, Dale.
All right. Well, good hunting, my trading warrior sister.
Okay,
talk to you soon.
Later. Yep.
Bye-bye. Everyone enjoy Vicki? How about a thank you for our guests? Thank you, Vicki, from Sinatra and Adinda and Zurich and everybody, and Goldie. Goldie, I'm so glad you showed up. You know why I'm glad you showed up, Goldie? Take a guess. Does anyone know why I'm glad that Goldie is in the house? Anyone know? Take a guess. I bet Abel knows why I'm glad Goldie is here. Okay, here's your hint. Here's your hint, Goldie. Today I bequeath upon you the Lar Award. Because Zurich knew, because he's the man. Preparing everyone in our community for the short side of US dollar yen and holding your conviction on the long side of pound dollar. Congratulations, Goldie. Thank you for all you do in our community. Everyone congratulate Goldie. How many man awards is that for you, Goldie? Stops so you don't get picked off. Less leverage, you'll lose your head. The lazy and successful. You better put this in your journal. So I know you're lazy. I know you're lazy, but you have to put this in your journal. I won the Man Award March 30th, 2016. So, any updates on your positions? Did you go to the door? But Goldie was preparing us last Friday for a short in the end and never gave up his bullish conviction in the pound from way down here. Pound, by the way, the pound's starting to diverge up here. So, do you have a speech, Goldie? And how many man awards have you won? I think Ricardo has won 1,055,000. You're not sure? Okay. So, everyone doing okay? So see this guy's first divergence all the way up in the pound, getting closer to this run being over. Still think Euro trades 114, 115. Euro's outperforming. So the pound's starting to show a little bit more relative weakness. See the Euro over 70, cable under 70. Thank you, Rick. So everyone see this RSI setup? This might be the third drive, getting close to, not saying we can't trade 100 higher, but I think the pound's now getting close to being long in the tooth up here. And we're starting to diverge. We're under 70, whereas the Euro is still, although diverging, above 70. So just something I noticed. Give me a Y if you see the weaker RSI structure in pound dollar compared to Euro USD. Mr. Bollinger, John Bollinger. Oh, you have a chart? Just want to point this out that the pound's starting to lose mo against the Euro. So maybe EG has a run in it. No, can you show me that chart? Okay. I'm not saying do it yet. I'm just pointing it out. It's at least a warning sign to be taking something off of the pound, even if there's another 100 pips or so. This is your first warning sign on longs. And it's only the first divergence. Could take a few. But if you bought it down here where Cyric was talking about it, I don't know about you guys, nothing wrong with 360 pips. It's going to 123. $117. Maybe a little pullback. Goes to 115, pulls back, and then 117. Actually, it measures more than that, doesn't it? Call this 115, Call this 107, so call it 8. On a breakout over 13, that measures 121. Measures 121 based upon the width of this triangle. That's what I see. Thank you, Goldie. Okay. Okay, Adinda. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. I'll wrap it up now. So I'm going to wrap it up on Tolson's view of the S&P showing some divergence. Maybe this is drive 2. And then just point it out again, even though the dollar trend is down hard, pound starting to lose momentum to the euro. I still think the yen is going to fail and take out this triple bottom. And I want to thank everyone individually for all their great calls today and their great shares. So let me start with thanking Abel, and Goldie was the man today. Nice trading. Goldie, thank you. Sinatra, for your views. Adinda, Sirik, thank you for your work. Tosin, thank you for your work. Dion, thank you. Luca, thank you for all your looks today. Pegasus, nice to see you. Simon, Ricardo, thank you for your great trades and looks. Mystic, thank you for your chart work today. Sir Vedran, thank you for your views in Canada. Fab, thank you, buddy. Always glad to see your handle here. Forex Pipper, Ibby, thanks for hanging out with us. I hope it's adding value to your trading experience here at FX Street. AA, hope you're enjoying your time here in LAR. Learner, I hope you're learning every day you spend here with us. Fame, the Grays, Stewart, Eileen, welcome back. Khalid, Dekadik, Ali, Jax, Jake, and Mauricio Carrillo. Okay, guys. See everyone tomorrow. Remember, don't just count your pips, which you have a lot to count. Being on the right side of the euro and pound and short side of yen. See you tomorrow, everyone. Good hunting.